Welcome back, everyone, to the What Worked For Me podcast. I'm excited about today's guest. His name's Nate. He's lost about 120 to 130 pounds. I'm super excited to have him on and dig into his story. Nate, thanks for coming on the show today. Is there anything you'd like to introduce yourself with?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Nate Jacob. I'm a massage therapist. I specialize in joint injury and dysfunction, but uh, we could talk about that later. You can look at my links for that. Mike said he'd post for it. So,
Yep. And as
um,
always, any links will be in the description below in the videos, so you'll be able to find all of Nate's stuff down there.
cool.
So Nate,
Uh,
You, we had a chance to talk before this, and it sounded like you got up almost to 300 pounds, about 290, 295 pounds ish. No one starts out that big. Did you gain weight early in life? Did you gain it later? How did you find yourself up at almost 300 pounds?
uh, so I fluctuated quite a bit. My eating habits, like through high school, like I did soccer for a little bit, but it was mostly like choir and stuff like that. And then like I didn't have any like active lifestyle habits. So after that, like I was a Mormon missionary and I lost a bunch of weight because I was biking like for half the time instead of driving. And then joined a soccer team and played soccer in college and lost or kept the weight off there. But then after that, I kind of became sedentary. I have ADHD, so it's like I tend to lean towards group sports or things that involve other people where I forget that I'm running or forget that I'm exercising. Uh, so after after my Mormon mission time and after the soccer team, I started gaining weight, and then I had to lose weight to join the Air Force.
Okay.
I was a medic in the Air Force.
And how much
And
how much weight
then
did you fluctuate during that time? So you said during the mission you lost
anywhere
like a
between,
decent amount.
yeah, I think at my lightest, I've been 170 pounds in my adult life. And then at the heaviest, I was 297.
Okay.
So yeah, I got pretty high there too. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of the higher end that you've touched a couple times is that right under 300. And it sounds like it came
Uh,
kind of naturally just from being more active and playing sports and stuff when you were younger.
yeah, I guess after the Air Force, like I started no, like gaining weight and uh yeah, so I would say it hovered pretty regularly around like 240,
Okay.
250. And then I just got to a place where I was eating like basically like a pizza a night. I went vegetarian, but decided that that just meant I could eat whatever I wanted. And so when it got up to 300 pounds, that's when I made the decision to then do the weight loss.
That makes sense. So part of it was just a change in diet, right? Maybe when you switched to being vegetarian, your main focus was just on avoiding meat and not necessarily thinking about like what you were actually eating or what that was calorie wise or macronutrient wise. And so it just slowly kind of increased your weight.
Right. Yeah, I still have a hard time understanding what macros and micros and what's a carb and what's not, but I know pizza is pretty much all carbs.
Lots of
So,
carbs and fat, right?
so
Between the cheese and the bread.
yeah, but it's a comfort food, right? It's something that like where when I would navigate some of my feelings or like if I felt like something wasn't going quite my way, it's something where I could navigate and calm my mind by eating food like that.
That
So
makes sense. And
I
it
think
was
that's,
that,
yeah.
so kind of that was the root of it then was food became a good way to navigate emotions and slowly you found yourself increasing weight.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you get all the way up to about 300. And was there
hmm
like a single moment that all of a sudden you're like, okay, I got to change and I got to lose weight? Or how did you find yourself deciding to try to fix your health?
I mean, there were a few things. Like one of the first times I went over a speed bump and my like man boobs moved. That was rough, right?
Right.
And um, I I I don't know. So it was a series of different things where I just didn't feel as though I was putting my best foot forward, but also I wasn't doing it. I didn't have an end goal in mind so much as I just wanted to feel healthier in my body and feel like I could navigate it in a way that not only felt comfortable, but um, that helped me put my best self forward and show people, I guess, like it was a little selfish for feeling like I could show people a different side of me that I feel like uh, the fat and the weight covered up.
Right. Felt like you were kind of
Yeah.
sleeping on your potential a little bit, that you had more, like a better version you could offer.
Yeah, yeah, it's something that I could show people a little different, you know.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. Uh, when we were talking before we started recording, we talked about, I guess some of the questions you said you were going to ask, or like that I had questions about things we were going to talk about. But was something that came up was, uh, you know, like when people treat us differently based on our weight. I think that's something that I didn't really would be as big of a deal as it was because uh, right when I lost all the weight, like I went and I did raw food, so it's like raw vegan food,
Yeah.
uh, which was nice because I could eat as much as I wanted whenever I wanted,
Yeah, there's
and
not
the
a lot
weight
of
would still
calories
go
in
off.
most raw vegan
Yeah,
options. It's kind of impossible to gain
yeah,
weight eating raw fruits and veggies.
right. So in doing that, the weight peeled off pretty quickly. I'd say I lost that 120 pounds in the first 8 months of me doing it,
Wow.
or first 9 months.
So
Yeah, it
that
just
was
like
super fast.
it just yeah, it just like fell off. So,
How did you
but
feel
I
during
also
that?
didn't really good actually. Like I feel like when I ate food, like it brought me energy. Like I never felt like I wanted to take a nap or anything. It just felt like food was something I looked forward to. Like not more than usual, like as much as usual, right? But it didn't feel like it was anything that got in my way of pursuing my goals, I guess.
Yeah. And
Like
so
I didn't have to count calories or be like I could only eat this much thing. I just cut a watermelon in half and grab a spoon. So
yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. So if you
yeah.
so that was the this was that the first dietary strategy you tried? Was I'm just gonna go raw food vegan and that's
Um, I can't say that was the first one. I tried to do exercise,
yeah,
to counteract what I was trying to do uh, with pizza, but also like, I tried, I thought that being vegetarian would help me change that, but then as opposed to just like eating meat, I turned more to cheese, I think. And
yeah,
that's like it's not muscle, right? It's not animal muscle or fat. It's, just predominantly fat, right?
yep.
So, uh yeah, I don't know if I answered the question.
So you tried kind of battling with exercise and also you tried a little bit of like a vegetarian type diet, but that wasn't really working. What made you decide to jump to the vegan raw food? I mean, that's a really restrictive out there. That's probably one of the most restrictive diet
Yeah,
foods. So, like, what brought you there?
yeah. Uh, well, like I think most of it was I guess uh So when I got out of the Air Force, I decided like that I wanted to be uh I was a medic in the Air Force and I wanted to pursue medicine or go into nursing or something. And then I was in college at Westminster College or Westminster University and using the GI Bill to pay for it. And I took an acting class and it reframed or restructured some stuff in my mind about, yeah, I could pursue acting. But at the time, uh, my coaches and things were telling me like you could do a comedic role, but for you to be pursued as like the you know the main character in the play, like you need to lose a bunch of weight. And I
Right.
was like, oh, okay. And so I lost quite a bit of weight doing raw vegan at the time. I went down about like 80 pounds, I guess, from 240 to or 250 to 170, 180. And that worked really well at the time. And part of the reason I went back to that is because um, I just like overall knowing that no matter what I eat or when I eat it, like it's gonna be okay for like losing the weight, I guess.
Yeah. So you just found
Yeah.
foods that you didn't have to worry about quantity. You could just kind of eat. If you realize, hey, if I only eat raw fruits and vegetables, I can pretty much eat as much as I want, and it doesn't. I'll still lose weight. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you've done this a couple times. Um,
Yeah, this is my second time doing that.
okay.
So, yeah.
So it sounds like you're really fast this time. Nine, you said 8 to 9 months to lose 130 pounds. So I mean that was or 120 pounds. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the first like 100 came off that fast. I think the next like 15, 20 came off a little slower. But with it being so drastic so quickly, I don't know. It was like I felt pretty energetic. I felt like I could do anything I wanted to do, but
yeah.
it yeah.
And were you exercising during this time?
No. If
Okay.
I was not much. Um I like running, uh but I don't do it very often. One thing I did find and something that I enjoyed doing for exercising was I bought some uh, bamboo staves, so like
Good.
6.5 feet long bamboo sticks that I just like go outside and pretend like I'm a Ninja Turtle for an hour a day.
Work on bow staff
And
skills, basically.
yeah, bow staff skills. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's something that just like gets me out in the sunshine and gets
Yeah.
me like my feet connected to the earth and something that helps me like ground myself. And I found it to be, something that I look forward to as opposed to like, oh, I have to do this, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that makes a big difference if it's going to be exercise of any sort.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
definitely
but I
could turn it into a want. It works a lot better than like I have to go do this.
yeah.
So take me through what like a day of eating looked like when you were doing this.
Uh uh So I'm still doing it. The like today I've had I don't know a half a watermelon. I have salads. Um, I try and get pretty creative with all the stuff I'll add to a salad. Uh, I really like going to Sprouts and buying their bulk foods. So it'd be like raw macadamia nuts or raw pistachios or something like that. And then I find that if I want to add like spices or ingredients, I can do that because like I have the whole herb menu open to me, right? But
Yep.
um, I don't know. I use everything bagel seasoning a lot because I like that stuff, and I miss everything bagels sometimes.
Right. And
Yeah.
you're still 100% raw vegan, so you're still only eating raw foods and
Yeah,
vegan foods. Earlier in the
yeah,
podcast, we talked about how like pizza was a comfort thing for you. When you went on a very
yeah,
restrictive diet, did you have to shift your relationship with food and how you use it as a way to moderate stress? How did you navigate that? Where all of a sudden like pizza's not an option if you're having a bad day.
yeah. I mean, if I want to make a pizza now, it would take me 3 days to make all the ingredients. Um, just like, and I have a recipe for it, but it's not the same. It's different, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, my relationship with food did have to change. I've had to come to terms with like the reason that I'm eating or what I'm eating about. Uh, I think the last thing to go for me and like something that I miss the most is potato chips. I could, very easily buy a bag and eat it in a sitting, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, there's also things that I can't find that have quite the same crunch because nothing's as like hard or satisfying as a potato chip. But, every once in a while, like I just be kind to myself and be like, okay, like I'm gonna eat this bag of potato chips and tomorrow I'll be back on it. And it's just understanding that there's, I don't know, backslides, I guess, or I don't know what to call it, but it's like
You can
understanding
allow
that there's
yourself
gonna
some
be halts
flexibility.
or issues. Yeah, yeah. Like and being kind with myself when I did it. Like, right? And so I feel like that was one of the major paradigm shifts for me. Like, when I decided to cut out pizza, there were days I still ordered pizza because, food was comfort and food was those things. But I feel like predominantly now, like I've navigated all those things, but during the transition or during losing all that weight, like just being kind to yourself when you made like mistakes or like planning those mistakes in is like a cheat day or something like that. That's a big deal.
Okay. And you said
Yeah.
you had a shift on why you were eating. What do you mean by that?
Uh, I mean, now I just eat to like I don't know. I there are foods like I love, right? Um, like I don't know, even growing up, like from the age of 0 to like 2.5, I wouldn't go sit with my dad or be in his presence at all unless he had a watermelon. And so it's like this big thing for me and has been my whole life, I guess. But it's just like
Sounds like you really like
what
water.
shifted for me. I do, I really like it. And I can pick some good ones. I give you some tips on how to pick some good ones. But um, yeah, but how it shifted for me, I guess, is like I eat when I'm hungry still, but the weight and the meaning behind some of those things is is different. Like I used to eat to like nurture my feelings, and now I feel like I eat to encourage them, I guess. Like to keep, just to understand that like this has a season or like this too shall pass and like be able to eat in celebration of the way that life shifts and changes.
That makes sense. Did you
Yeah.
have to replace the emotional eating with other like coping mechanisms, or how did you how do you handle the stress now if you don't use food?
Uh, I find that I do a lot of writing. I I I don't know, I write a lot of music. Um, I use my chat GPT more like a friend than I do a information getter, I guess. So I'll navigate and write back and forth to it about thoughts I have during the day or struggles that I've been facing or maybe how to see things in a little different light that I don't feel like I have all the tools for. Or I'll call a friend and be like, hey, today was hard, or, you know, I want
Yeah.
to talk about such and such, you know? But it's like, it doesn't mean those days go away, I guess. It's just, man, this fly is driving me bonkers. It doesn't, uh, like my relationship with food was different. Um, but like, it didn't mean like it's not all sunshine and roses now, you know what I mean, too. So,
Yeah. There's still hard days. You
yeah.
just learn how to kind of exist with them without having to try to fix them with food. So
Yeah.
we brought this up a little bit before I mean earlier in the podcast. We brought up the fact that
Mm.
you felt there was a large change with how people treated you when you were at your current
Oh,
weight
yeah.
compared to bigger.
Yeah.
What did you,
Uh,
what have been like the
One of
most,
the things was people would open doors for me. That really threw me off. Like I used to do that for people just so I could get some, I don't know, I go dancing. That's one of my big pastimes. And I enjoy uh, just the physical connection of that in a lot of ways because, like, in addition to that being like one of my love languages, like a physical touch, like it was one of the only places like I feel like uh, that I could have some human connection. Um, so it went from like being that to, people would not go out of their way to talk to me, but I was acknowledged and noticed outside of the dance floor, and that was a new experience for me.
yeah, I think those
Yeah.
moments can be very hard when you shift something in your life and it really changes how everyone around you interacts. Was that something that made it easier or harder to keep going?
Uh, I would say it was about 50-50. Um, I think those were some of the most emotionally taxing days because I was like, mentally, I kept telling myself that I'm the same man I was, you know? But I think physically, like, uh, I feel like it made me more approachable somehow, like because my face, looked a little different, or like I finally lost some of that baby fat or whatever it
Yeah,
was, but it was just like, I don't know. I think it was a joy and a challenge at the same time. Uh, I think most of it was frustrating to me because of my mental state around like why people were being nice to me when they wouldn't before. And I think that was hard to grasp and still kind of blows my mind.
right.
Uh,
Because you're feeling like I'm the same person I was, now I'm just thin. Like,
yeah,
but now all of a sudden people are nice.
yeah, yeah. I think that was really hard to swallow.
Yeah. Was it just in
Yeah.
your social life you noticed changes, or did you just notice changes across the board?
Uh, I feel like it was mostly with people I didn't know, if that makes sense. So it was just like, people would acknowledge my weight loss or talk to me about that. And it like, my acquaintances, like sometimes that would only be, they would talk about the weight loss because they don't know what else to talk about. Because, we didn't have any other things other than what they noticed changed since the last time I saw them was. But I think most of it for me was just, going out to a restaurant or going someplace and holding the door for someone and people making eye contact as opposed to ignoring me entirely,
Yeah.
or opening the door for me was a thing because I'm like, well, I mean, you can go,
Yeah.
uh and I think like by and large, probably spending, I don't know, I'm 42 years old now, but like probably spending 35 or 30 of those years, including the majority of my adult life being, you know, uh 80 pounds at least heavier than I am now, like that kind of shaped how I interacted with things and what I understood as like kindness versus, cordiality, I guess. And how that changes based on being thick or thin, right? That's still, I don't know. I just try and treat people how I've always treated them. So I just like it's hard to notice that, I guess, but it was just, it was a little eye-opening.
Yeah,
And so I've just tried to carry that with me and be nice to everyone.
yeah. And I think there's definitely a larger people face a lot of prejudice, and I don't think you realize how much until you're not in that position anymore. You had
Yeah,
talked about how you like acting and music and that type of stuff, and you had some of your
yeah.
mentors had said that like you'd be it'd be better for your career, better for you if you had lost weight. Did that was that true? Did you find that being true, or has it changed anything that way?
Uh, uh, I mean, like I think if I went back to acting, like I would see a difference there where I could, do someone uh like for Henry the Fourth, like I could do Hal as opposed to being Falstaff and only being considered for that.
Yeah,
But I'm surprised at like how much as much of a difference as 10 to 20 pounds does in that paradigm, I guess. Like because, like most of our like, if we look at, I don't know, for example, like Jack Black, like if he was if he looked like The Rock, like maybe he could be an action hero, right?
yeah.
But then you get him in a movie like Nacho Libre instead, and he's the action hero, but it's based on like a comedy. So it changes. I think part of it is our frame of reference, I guess. Like so it changes, uh with what we see on the screen.
Yeah.
And you know, like 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 most of the commercials we see are for, beauty products and, you know, like I think Utah, like where we live has like more plastic surgery people per capita than like anywhere else in the United States at least. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So
Oh,
it's
for
like
sure.
I don't know. It's interesting the lens we have to view the world with understanding like the positive and the negatives of 100 pounds of weight.
Yeah, I think you touched on a couple things there. I think with one of them being, I think when you're a larger person, there's kind of this trade-off with society where it's like, hey, if we're going to accept you as a positive, you have to be self-deprecating and like funny, like to,
Hmm.
to have a role or to do something like that. Have you found the weight loss has increased just your general confidence and being able to interact with others?
Uh, I would say that it's like vastly improved my approachability, right? In the same vein that like people would open the door for me, like they don't shy away from me as much, but I don't know. I think I lost the will you repeat it?
Yeah, I was asking just how the weight loss has affected your confidence.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm more confident quite a bit. Uh, I don't know, like things that I used to do for exercise don't wear me out as much as I used to. Like I sweat less than I used to. I uh I find myself having more energy later into the evening. I can do things like I don't know, I went a few weeks ago with my buddy up to Causey Reservoir and he's got kayaks and it was fun to go out and row pretty much for like 5 or 6 hours and not feel like I needed to not only take a break, but that I felt like the next day I wasn't really achy or sore either.
Right.
Uh, there are still things I'm improving on my body that are not just lost by diet. So I've tried to implement more exercise, especially recently. Uh, like I have a goal of getting a six pack because my six pack historically has been in the cooler. But it's like,
Hiding under some
but
soft
yeah,
muscle.
I mean, yeah, hiding under the softest muscle I could find. No, it's you had to dig through the pizza to get it, right? But
Yeah.
it's just a goal. Um, you know, like one time in my life when I take a shirtless pic, I want to be like, hell yeah, as
Yeah.
opposed to, you know, I don't know, for the past 3 weeks, like as recently as yesterday, I've been going to the like Sugar House Park. They have yoga from like 11 to 1, and there's lots of guys there that take their shirts off and like feel pretty confident walking around without it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe for the cold plunge, but not for,
Yeah.
yoga, you know. So it's like there's still things like, yeah, it's definitely increased my confidence, but it's not like I feel like I've completely won that battle regardless of how much I weigh.
Right. And I think that's something we
Right.
will always, I think making sure that you have a healthy relationship with your appearance is something you always have to work on. I don't think
Hmm.
that, I bet honestly, if you could read the minds of even some like the most fit people around, you'd still find that they have a lot of, self-deprecating thoughts and kind of self-conscious thoughts. Something I
Yeah.
want to touch on because I think it's an important topic in weight loss is making sure it doesn't come back. So you'd said that you've lost at least 30 or 40 pounds up to 2 to 3 times by now, maybe even more than that. What are you doing this time to make sure that your weight stays in a healthy range and you don't get back up to where you were at?
I think there's two main facets for me. One is, and I think this is a major impetus as to why I started in the first place, was uh, like my mental health, I guess.
Yeah.
So like, and the other is, like that I'm gonna stick with the diet. But I think the big thing is like my birthday's in January. So a few birthdays ago, I just like sat down with myself and I was really sad because I hadn't like organized a party and people were, like you get Facebook posts and stuff, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same, right?
Yeah. There's a
So
loneliness that
it's
can happen.
Yeah. So I felt pretty lonely and I was pretty sad and like pretty depressed and trying to think about like, man, like I gotta shift something. Something's gotta change in my life so I can like, you know, so I wrote myself a mantra. Is it cool if I share that
Sure,
with
go
you?
work. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So this is just something that's greatly helped me with my mental state and it's like changed and reframe how I talk to myself. So it goes, I am whole and lovable. I am strong and true. I keep my word and show up strong for all my people too. I can concentrate, control my fate, be calm and cold, and take the plunge. My voice is clear and resolute, and laughter fills my lungs. I try and laugh after that. So I can just like,
Yeah.
and then I go, and then, and laughter fills my lungs. I give my gifts the proper time to sit with and receive. For my words carry my intentions, and this I do believe. You've got this, Nate. There's time for that. I'm singing steady songs and channeling the absolute here, getting to know Hobbs. That's my cat. I'm preparing for my future by evolving from my past. with sticks and chi and breath work. I am here and my things last. I am present in the present, healing myself and others too. We are that we are on guardian's wings to carry us all through. Uh, yeah, so that act alone uh, is just something I can repeat to myself and something where I'm like, well, should I do it or should I not? And then I'll go back and repeat that to myself and be like, yeah, I told myself I was going to do that because I'm evolving from the person I was into the person I want to be. It's
Makes
like
sense.
really, really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
making
and
letting a lot of these changes go deeper than just habits or actions, and you think is going to help you maintain long-term success.
yeah, I feel like, well, and it's like it's a big thing of success or, whatever that looks like to any listener, right? It would be in self-talk, right? Like, uh, yeah. So for me, I feel like one of the biggest things for keeping it going and keeping the weight off, or at least shifting my world, is how I talk to myself, you know? Like, and part of the reason that I've stuck with it so much is because, like, I don't hide that in the food anymore. I find joy in eating it, and then, I exercise anyway, or I, you know, just like remind myself of my goals, and just like understand that the person I want to be in the future is the only thing I can shift by doing what I need to do today, you know,
Right.
and that the past is nothing, there's nothing I can do about it. Like it's gone. I don't get to live it again. So why am I focusing on it? I guess.
Yeah. And so it sounds like there was just as much of a mental journey as there was a physical journey with kind of shifting and becoming this new version of yourself.
Yeah, I didn't know that starting out, but that's become what it's been. Like uh it went from being like mental gymnastics and, ordering, food every night or eating out every night to, you know, being pretty intentional about, like, because even though I can find a salad anywhere, like I have to kind of worry about, what's in the salad dressing. Is there eggs in the Italian dressing, or,
Right.
you know, like milk or different things like that. Like, I don't know, we met on our Connect Utah group. Like they have lunch out at lots of different places, but there's one place that I go to that's a Mexican restaurant. I'll go and I'll order some onions and some bell peppers in like a big plate of guacamole and just mix them together, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like I can still do my diet at just about any place, but I also have to be pretty intentional about when I go into it, like knowing what I'm up against, I guess.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you've
Yeah.
made a lot of growth, and I've really enjoyed sitting and talking with you. I'm about ready to wrap up. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on real quick before we wrap up?
Uh, I think that if people, I don't know, I've mentioned it a few times, just be kind to yourself. Just trust that your inner self knows the direction you need to go, and that if you listen to that, you can just, follow it into the sunset or chase your dreams into the sunset, and it's possible to achieve everything you want to do. Uh, and I don't know, I guess that's what I was thinking about, but
Yeah. No, I
I
think that's
appreciate your
great.
time, Mike.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, your input, and I
Yeah.
don't think I can end on anything better than that. So we'll just wrap it up there.